I'm glad that I get to thank my very first, right after I graduated from Yale, the first place I went was the O'Neill and George White. I think that place taught me more in 6 weeks than I got in 3 years. It was pretty intense and pretty great. And seat of the pants, nothing, doctrinaire, fantastic. My friend Ann doesn't wear an engagement ring on her finger. She does wear one almost all the time in her right earlobe. And I don't know if it's hers, or if it's her mother's, or if it's just a pretty idea. But it's the kind of mysterious, skewed, weird, off sort of detail that's emblematic of her work in the theater and in films. It's the individual identifier, the thing that announces to the world, there's no one in the world like me, and no one else is like you. Everybody who works with Ann Roth, that is, everybody who is of a capacious mind and confident talent, wants to work with no one else after that experience. Because she doesn't just design clothes. She becomes the muse of the project. She actually doesn't design costumes. She's a video biographer of characters. And the reason she's a great designer is partly because she's a writer. She writes a book in her head, and sometimes off the top of it, on each individual character in the story. She can tell you what that person has on their bedside table. She can tell you how many sugars they take. She can tell you where their mother was raised and why they comb their hair to the left instead of the right. She has an unstoppable imagination. And the most visionary directors and producers love working with her because she brings them inexhaustible curiosity, wit, and collaborative spunk to every single project that she works on. I haven't worked in a play with Ann, but we've worked in we've worked in films, and I know that that the approach is the same, so I feel like I can talk about her theater work. Because there's this moment in the theater, there's this flagging, sort of scary mess that can appear just in the last week before the first preview. And there's also, it's analogous to the chaos of fear that accompanies the last 2 frenzied weeks of shooting on any film. Everybody gets paranoid that they don't have enough. We all lose heart, but we all know we can walk down the hall to the costume department, where we can count on a restoration of verve, a glass of Sancerre, and a reason to go on living. Here's how the first fitting with Ann Roth typically goes. You trudge up these stairs in the very unprepossessing costume depot, which is on the 2nd floor of a sort of railroad loft on 23rd Street. And it's a place crammed with all these dress racks and desks, and there's one small table with chairs around it that looks like a dining table or a conference table. I've never seen anybody eat, sit, or have a conference table. And the sort of hot center of the room is this curtain area. And in front of that stands Ms. Roth. She's always on her feet, standing, and always elevated on heels. At least when I first did Silkwood and Heartburn with her, very high heels. She has great legs. Great legs. and now, in a concession to nothing, she wears a wedge. Oh, it's tall. Because she's short. She's really short. And there's this, she has a group of people who slavishly work for her and love her so much. And they call her, only sort of tongue-in-cheek, slightly tongue-in-cheek, Ms. Roth, because she likes to be addressed that way. This is how the design encounter of our next film, which comes out sometime in the summer, went. She said, "Come here. I have something to show you. You must know about it, and you're going to love it." I knew right away, even though I had, 1 hour for this fitting, that this was going to have nothing to do with the movie we were making, which was a comedy about sex therapy for older people from Omaha. So she flips out this CD and she puts it in, and the room is filled with this beautiful, unbelievable Russian contralto voice singing some kind of Orthodox liturgical aria that just was really, really long. We listened to all of it. And I was, of course, in tears because it was unspeakably beautiful. And she said, "Okay, now," she pushed the curtain aside, she said, "Let me show you what I got at the mall." And immediately I got the connection between, religious ecstasy and sexual ecstasy, and how a body, a 62-year-old dumpy body that I was bringing to the fitting, would have sexuality, even wearing styleless things and tallets or wherever she'd gone. I knew that there would be sex there. It would animate it, and and this whole thing that was just vibrating in my head made me know that the comedy was going to be deeper. I mean, she's not a writer. She's a poet. She knows how to mix objects and music, and high and low, and text and subtext, and she delivers it all to me. It's a great gift. I've never worked with a designer who does that, ever. And I never really want to work with anybody but her, because I love her. She makes herself vital to every project, and to the people she works with. But the work never screams, "Look at me! Look at the costumes!" Except maybe in the Book of Mormon. Everything is screaming at me. And I don't know. I think this refusal to draw attention, outsized attention to herself, has inhibited, or made people reluctant to recognize her in the way that I feel she so richly deserves, over and over and over again, through her long and unbelievably varied career. And you have to go online and read all the credits, because it's just, we've lived so long. But it's because of that I take particular pleasure in being here tonight to give you this wonderful honor and induct you into the Theater Hall of Fame, where you belong. Ladies and gentlemen.